Welcome back, everybody. I am the Jimmer. This is the Propane 1 million RP King of the Hill Championship. It's going to be episode 20, featuring the Sword of Light by Xionyx. This is our contender, a huge laser with some propellers slapped on top to move it around, and then two nimble rocket-wielding support aircraft that are going to distract its enemy and lay down some damage with their missiles. And then that is going to be taking on our current champion and quite long reigning now, the Omega Nightmare by Scarlet Devil. Features two advanced custom cannons that have a ridiculously high rate of fire and high armor penetration, and then also has this rear-facing missile barrage. Opens up those back doors and drops a bucket of pain right on your head. So we'll see if that comes into play in this battle. Let's get things sped up and get this battle underway. You can see the Omega Nightmare going straight for the enemy here. Able to dodge most of those missiles, taking a little bit of damage though. Appears one of the support aircraft for the Sword of Light have been taken out, and here we see that huge missile barrage ejected from the rear of the Omega Nightmare, chasing down this little drone, and there we go, boom, huge amount of EMP. That little drone craft just lit up there, and is most certainly AI dead at this point. Let's get a damage report. Sword of Light taking some hits though, all the way down to 93%. Omega Nightmare 100%, and both the drones have been destroyed. See the missiles coming in here. We know that the Sword of Light has a very powerful LAM system, but I'm not sure if it's going to be able to keep up with all of the missiles coming from the Omega Nightmare. You can see taking a few hits there, and that missile volley ran out of fuel. You can see while it is firing at these missiles, it looks like it shuts down its main damage laser and is no longer getting any hits in on the Omega Nightmare. Omega Nightmare getting very high up there. Looks like it's stalling out in the atmosphere. Moving a little bit slow, and the Sword of Light should be taking advantage here. Looks like, yes, it is. It is getting some shots in while the Omega Nightmare is having trouble in that very thin upper atmosphere. See, it is deploying smoke, so a lot of that laser damage is going to be, unfortunately, just completely lost. And here we go, huge missile volley coming from the Omega Nightmare, and it looks like a lot of these missiles are going to connect. The Sword of Light in a lot of trouble here, and wow, just getting absolutely lit up. I am speechless. That was just an insane amount of EMP there. That sword lit up like a bolt of lightning, and is just plummeting down into the ocean here. I wonder if it is AI dead already. Yes, and it certainly is. And with that missile volley, the Omega Nightmare wins the first round. Let's get this reset and get battle number 2 underway. And here we go with battle number 2. We get things sped up and get this fight underway. Neither entry wasting any time. See those missiles and custom cannons starting there for the Omega Nightmare. And you see the laser just pounding away on the hull of the Omega Nightmare. See the looks like the support fighters for the Sword of Light, able to stay alive so far and get a couple missile volleys off. Oh, looks like, yeah, in the distance you can see one of the support fighters took a volley of missiles from the Omega Nightmare and is most certainly AI dead. The other chasing down the Omega Nightmare here, staying right on its tail, and it looks to be outrunning these missiles. See the laser damage coming in from the Sword of Light being fairly effectively mitigated by the smoke of the Omega Nightmare. The Omega Nightmare moves fairly erratically. I mean, it goes kind of in spirals, but even with that motion, it's still able to keep a good amount of smoke covering its hull. Oh, here's we see the Omega Nightmare diving down into the ocean. Perhaps it took some damage we didn't see, and this missile strike will most certainly hit. And tit for tat there, the missile strike hits the Omega Nightmare, and the Omega Nightmare's custom cannons take out what is left of this support fighter. Let's get a damage report. Omega Nightmare not very damaged, only down to 97%. Sword of Light actually looking a little worse, dropping down to 96 there for half a second. And not really sure what happened. Must have just taken some critical damage to its engines, or possibly its stability control. But not slowing it down at all. Still putting the pain on the Sword of Light. And actually being down in the water there may actually help it, as its smoke clouds will stack. And I've had a little bit of a forum argument about that last couple days, so it's just kind of funny that it's coming up now. But the smoke is, in my opinion, very overpowered right now. You get 3 smoke clouds and you're doing, I mean, less than 1% of your laser's damage. And with the cost of lasers in both engine power as well as the laser components are very RP heavy, I feel like the lasers are just a little bit underpowered right now. I mean, this Sword of Light has done very well being laser powered, but against one of its enemies had absolutely no smoke at all, so not planning on fighting Lasercraft. And then the other put up a pretty good fight, but unfortunately did lose to the laser, even though it was deploying smoke. But here you can see the Omega Nightmare just not taking any damage from that laser. I mean, it is slightly underwater, but that distance of water is fairly minimal. You'll lose maybe like 4 or 5% from a couple meters underwater there. But the smoke clouds, each one is 90% off the laser damage, and with the stacking, I don't think this Sword of Light has any chance of winning here, unfortunately. Even though it's done very well taking out or at least downed its opponent, it's just not going to be able to get those finishing blows in. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a stalemate. I think we're about 5 minutes in here, so we've got another 10 minutes before we hit overtime. If we need to go into overtime, that is. So we'll just stay with this for now, and I will possibly fast forward this section in post if need be. And if that happens, everything I'm saying right now is going to sound like it was sung by the Chipmunks. Omega Nightmare has healed all the way back to 100%, but I don't think it has any method of extracting itself from the water, and appears to be sinking at this point. I think this little underwater sandbar here is the only thing keeping it in this competition. It's, I think, probably about, what, like 15 meters depth here? Yeah. Oh, actually, it's quite a bit deeper than that. It's all the way down to 40 meters. But this sandbar able to keep it in play. Otherwise, I do believe it would be dipping down and out of bounds. See that laser damage going through a couple hundred meters of seawater, and then the smoke just not really able to do anything. And the Omega Nightmare continues to pump out the missiles. It appears a lot of them are getting stuck on the surface here, but some of them are able to break free and get over here to put the hurt on the Sword of Light. Sword of Light looks like it is in trouble. I'm not seeing its lambs fire. No, it appears that the lambs have gone offline, and with that, it's going to be free reign for the missiles to just gut this Sword of Light. Alright, and I think it's safe to call it there. The Omega Nightmare once again able to defend its position as first place king. I think this Sword of Light here by Xionyx has given it its best run so far. Did great work, just kind of cut through the early kings very quickly, and appeared to be doing alright here against the Omega Nightmare, but like I said before, I think lasers are just a little bit underpowered at this point, and a small nerf to smoke would get them back in the competition. I really like the idea for this craft. It was very cool looking and a very interesting design, but as we saw there, it should have been, once that Omega Nightmare fell down into the ocean for whatever reason and was not able to get back out. It seems like a trapped enemy, a dead duck floating in the water should take a lot of damage, but unfortunately, it just lets the smoke stack up, and the laser craft here is unable to get the kill. And once again, I want to say thanks to Xionyx for submitting the Sword of Light here. I think what we're going to do is this is going to be the first episode where we switch up. I've been talking in the forums about doing this, where we're going to switch over to a little bit taller mountain, so to speak. Instead of having just the top 3 players on there, we're going to have the top 5 players. And they'll go on to a leaderboard, and new contenders will come in and face the 3rd place king. So that's not really changing, but what is changing is that if they lose their first battle, instead of being out of the competition, they will move down and face our 4th and possibly 5th place king. And if they are able to win a battle, they will actually secure that position. So since the Sword of Light here was able to defeat both the Iron Maid and the Truth of Christmas, this will be moved down into 2nd place, and we will bump our current kings down. We'll bump all the way down to 5th place now. So we'll have a little bit deeper competition, and people who submit craft, you'll know that you're going to get at least 2 or 3 battles out of it, and not have to worry about getting eliminated in that first battle. So thanks everybody for watching, and really enjoyed these battles. If you want to see some more exciting action here in From the Depths, go ahead and click on that next video. I'm actually curious what happened to the Omega Nightmare. Just hanging out.